Hey, so the 90-day fiance finale, that's the other way that is, was explosive to say the least. 90-day fiance, we talk about that a lot here on CBiz Media, where we talk about faith, love, and trends. This is Irene. Again, CBiz Media. 90-Day Fiance is a reality show that shows couples where one is from another country, one is usually from the US, and they come together, and the person from the US may end up trying to go to their partner's country or vice versa. And if they do try to come to America, there's a 90-day visa process that will allow them to finally get married and get their visa and be a citizen and all of those American dream type things. But we get to watch the ride. We get to watch them go through their ups and downs as they try to get to the altar. First, I would like to talk about Danielle and Johan. Through this season, the two of them have definitely been clashing. It seems like they haven't had a good day in any of their episodes, except for maybe one. So we find out that Johan is not only money hungry for Danielle's finances, but he's also been cheating with another woman. He's also been asking other women for money as he's been married and asking his wife to fund his life. Johan is the person that's from another country, and Danielle is the American, and she's older. So there's things that are kind of red flaggish about their relationship anyway. The fact that she's a little older, and it seems like people from other countries, I'm not trying to stereotype, but usually the US person is the victim as far as if there is something scammy or something fake or fraudulent going on or foul. The US person is usually the victim. Not always true, but in this case, it seems like it is true. And Danielle and Johan, they've been trying to work it out even in another series, another season of 90 Day. And at this point in time, it's not looking great. Danielle looks like she's packing up her things during this finale, and she's on her way out. She's done. This woman has written her, given her all this proof that he's been seeing her while he's married to Danielle. He's been asking her for money as well as others for money. He's been asking this lady for money so that he can get divorced. A lot of messiness going on with Johan. To me, he's giving me very strong gigolo vibes. I'll say that. Very strong gigolo vibes indeed. Now we got to go to Shekinah and Sarper. Now with Shekinah and Sarper, their relationship's been kind of rocky, but Shekinah was always steadfast and always show love to Sarper, even though he would um, say some things that I feel are sexist, rude, just not a way you would treat the person that you love. He said these things. He's had a lifestyle of being a womanizer and having thousands of other partners, which he's counted thousands of people, which is crazy. But Shekinah's always had this heart for him. And finally, the one last straw she couldn't handle was him demanding for her to have a child. And that kind of put them on the outs. Again, he threw out some more negative comments when she said she was going to leave and he was going to lose her. He threw out some negativity, acting as if, oh, I'll forget you in 2 days. So he went back to that route again. And she kind of was like, you know what? I need my space. I need to get away from you at this time. So I think she got a hotel or something like that. He threatened her and said, if you leave, you might as well not come back. And, just all this lashing out he did to her in a result of her standing up for herself and whatnot. So she goes to the hotel. Then he's now trying to woo her, get her to come back, apologize, say you don't have to have a kid, all these things. So it kind of surprised me a little bit that Sarper like totally changed his tune. And she is and has been leery that he may change his tune again, going back to his negative ways of treating her, especially when it comes to having this kid and pressuring her. But at this moment in time, it looks like Sarper's going to be a good boy and they may have their happy ending, though they've been struggling throughout this whole process. But she's been loving on him the whole time and having faith in him the whole time. Um, I just couldn't be Shekinah. Shekinah is a very, very forgiving person. I don't know if I could be that forgiving. Could you? You guys can always email me with your thoughts, especially if you're a 90 Day fan and you've been watching and you've been keeping up with what's going on. You know this couple. Would love to hear your thoughts. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. It's an explosive finale for 90 Day Fiance the other way. All right, now we're going to take it to Brandon and Mary. Brandon and Mary went through a lot. So I found out early in the season, we all did, many of us, it was kind of leaked. I don't know if it was leaked or they wanted us to know, but Brandon and Mary end up getting married, and we find that out early in the season. But as we see the show in real time, we see the different things that they go through. They are pretty much a toxic couple. They can't stay off of video chat because they don't trust each other to stay faithful. They've both been hurt in different ways and abandoned, have abandonment issues. So they're bonding and clinging to each other in an unhealthy way. So he finally is able to come to her country. And when he does, the family's like, well, we want her to stay chaste. She shouldn't be having sexual relations until she's married and all of these things. And no kissing and all this. And then the first thing she does is break the rules and she's kissing all on him. Her brother sees. And so basically, they're already breaking the rules, and she's kind of one of the main advocates of doing so. Not really letting Brandon know what was up, but then Brandon is like really wanting to hook up with her because they had been engaging in sexual things during their video chats, and he's like, okay, now I'm really with you, so I really want to do this with you for real in real time. And the first night it seems like things are going well. She's gonna try to, she was kissing on him, but she's not gonna go that far, and she's not going to go against her family's wishes, so she's not gonna do anything. But later on, we find she did do something, and they've been doing something, and now she's pregnant. So wow, she said, Brandon, I want to have your child, so let's have a baby. So they kind of did things backwards, and they finally are able now to get married. And when they do, his mom comes, and the mom hasn't been a big fan of Mary because she just seems so maybe so needy and somewhat toxic and just a little bit too much. But I think they both were toxic for each other. But during this whole process, they really show that they love and care for each other, even though they're challenged with, Brandon. One thing is he seems to be lazy and just wants to do video games. You're dealing with some young people in their early 20s, and then they're trying to have a baby when all he wants to do is play video games. They're not ready. They're doing things, adult things that they are not prepared to do, even though they are over 18, right? But they finally get married, and at the wedding, Mary is pregnant, but he's going to make an honest woman out of her. And the mother is now being more kind and approving. She's giving them advice and trying to help them. That's Brandon's mother. But they do their vows and everything, and all of a sudden, these bugs take over. And even the mom says this seems like one of the Bible plagues, like what is happening? And even Mary, who lives in that country and area, says that has never happened. These bugs take over the whole wedding. They're biting them. They're getting in Mary's wedding dress. They get all over the cake. The mom is going crazy because the bugs are in her hair. And she's like, they're in my hair. They're in my hair. She keeps thinking they're in her hair, even when she gets in the truck, and could be in her hair. And then we start hearing how Brandon's like saying they're biting. Oh, they really do bite. And it was just seems like a wedding nightmare. So that definitely was an explosive moment. of the show and the finale in Brandon and Mary's journey as they finally get to go and down the altar the other way in which he now lives in her country. It was pretty crazy. But when I first found out they got married, I was like, oh, that's great. I didn't know how big the journey was. I didn't know as time went on, it will be revealed that she ends up getting pregnant even before she gets married. Um, they've been having sex against the family's wishes. All of this stuff happens before the actual marriage. So they broke a lot of rules and they did a lot of things and they were immature young people that made some choices that didn't really get any outside advice when they decided to do some of these things. Now they're getting advice. I'm wishing them the best. I know the wedding was crazy, but I'm glad that they were able to make that commitment to each other. And I hope that moving on, they can grow and learn and get rid of some of that toxicity. Um, the Brandon's mother had some good points and said they both need to go get some separate therapy because they need to heal individually before coming together, and maybe they need counseling together as well. But they have a lot of work to do and they have to step up really fast because they have a baby on the way. So that's the story of Brandon and Mary. Then we get to TJ and Kim. Kim comes from America to, I believe, India. And I apologize, guys. I don't know all the names of the countries. So I usually just say the other country or the country. I apologize. I don't know every name of all of the countries. And I may put a link in the description so you guys can see some of the cast and the different countries that they come from. All love and respect. It's just really my memory. And I do like to do this off top. I don't write a script or anything like that. But I'm going to put something in the description so I could spell that information out for you a little bit better. But from what I know, TJ is from India, Kim is an American, and they kind of been clashing cultures for a minute. She hasn't actually been getting along well with his family. She moved there to his country, and the living situation where basically in their beliefs, at least in that area, or his particular belief in his family system, you know, you all live together in the same house, husbands and wives, kids, parents, the grandparents, everybody lives together. So even though she has her own upstairs area where they're both supposed to be dwelling, they're still all in the same house. She hasn't been getting along with them. She, to me, does have a little bit of attitude. She does seem a little overprivileged American vibes, but then there's also part of me that says I understand in some of the ways that TJ is not trying to um see where she's coming from. He doesn't realize the cultural differences and the realities of that and the emotions that she's going through. And it seems like he expects her to assimilate completely to his culture, though he has been, taking some kindnesses toward her and defending her when it comes to the family. But he doesn't emotionally get, some of the things that we go through as women, and he's not even really trying. I feel like he's just thinking about his side and his part. And then she thinks she's doing that as well on some level and how she's feeling. And they had like a big blowout fight. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. After the wedding, it seemed as if things were going to get better and the family was going to start working together. But it seems like everything is just still messy. The family doesn't get along with her. She doesn't get along with them. TJ's always gone. She doesn't have any activity. She doesn't know the language, can't really go out. So she feels cooped up in a place where people don't like her. TJ's saying, well, I have to work. So what do you expect me to do? You should be happy. He's kind of like saying you're responsible for your own happiness. You can figure this out. And on some levels, he is correct. So she can make the effort of going online and trying to see if she could get a translator to go with her to different places. I mean, there's things that she could try to do to have a better experience there, but she's just sitting there waiting for him. And I'm just also curious, what is their love life like? Because it seems like they don't have a romantic connection much, really, at all. And it's always fighting and screaming and upset and depressed. And he doesn't really get it. And he doesn't really care about that. And he's like basically telling her to get over it, is his vibe. So he's kind of trying to say, I think the last thing he said is, "Oh, you want to end this marriage, then you don't want to be with me, then go back to the US and buy and all of this." And she said, "No, I didn't say that." And she was screaming, and it just looks very like bad. And it looks like this could be the end for them. So I don't know what's going to happen with TJ and Kim, but again, it's been a challenges throughout their relationship as well. Some of the same issues with the family, and her just, she does have somewhat of an entitled vibe, but he doesn't see her point of view. He doesn't see her side as a woman, which sometimes it's hard for men to see that. And also I think it's cultural as well. I know that in some communities, and even myself as an African American woman, not for all of us, but I'm conditioned to, even though I'm not, everything doesn't feel great for me, I'm like, it's okay, I'm okay, and I move forward. And I'm sure the women in that culture have that same thing. They have to take care of the house, the family. They may not be feeling the greatest or the happiest or content, but they just do what they have to do. That's like the vibe there, versus um, in America, but also people that come from more privileged background do have the ability to say, I'm having these emotional issues right now and I need to address them. And especially from the younger generation as well, which I think is very noble, and it needs to be addressed, because I think it's unhealthy to stay in that I'm okay vibe when you're really not okay. But I think there also needs to be a balance as to, I'm not okay, but what do I need to do about it? Is there something that I can do? I can go see a professional, but what else can I do in my life to help improve my life and help me feel better? So it's so many different differences between them, cultural and the male and female dynamic and all of these things. And I just hope that they figure it all out. And I wish them the best. And I hope that Kim is able to get some assistance with her mental health and depression and all of those issues. I definitely believe when you are in that type of situation that you would feel trapped, and you would definitely have things that you're going through with your mental health, and you're in another country, you're homesick, you don't know the language, you can't really do anything. What is your purpose? Just to be this person's wife, but they're never around. And so I could definitely see that. And I could see, as a new wife, especially, and you're not in the ideal circumstance you would like to be as a new wife, and it's not as you expected, that can also be something that affects your mental health as well. PTSD after the wedding. Um, Sadly, I do believe some brides and some grooms grow through that, especially if they have certain expectations for what their life's going to be like, and those expectations are not met. We're at the beginning, and this is supposed to be your honeymoon phase. You guys are supposed to actually be the happiest at this point, and if you're not happy at this point, will you be happy? That's the question. So, I'm wishing all these couples the best. They really do need some therapy. I believe they could all use some, and that's not negative. That's just the reality. And everybody on some level, I think, can use a little bit of therapy, a little bit of treatment, and a little bit of Jesus, and maybe a combo of both. I mean, depending on your faith system and what you believe. But wow, I just wish these couples the best. They do have that show, 90 Day to Last Resort now, but I wouldn't want my relationship to get so bad that I would have to go to that show from the 90 Day universe. I would like to see these couples heal and get the help they need. And it would be great if TLC would offer that to them, but I don't know if that's something that they do or not do. But to follow them through this whole journey and to see them just go through all these challenges, I really think that that's something that they need. But when you think about a reality show, you're not really supposed to intervene to a certain degree. What that rule is, I don't know, because reality shows are some levels set up and some levels real. I think it's a lot real, but certain scenarios and things are set up. The editing, they only show the more interesting, dramatic parts. They don't just show the good times or sometimes the day to day where nothing really happens. So you don't get to see the full outlook. And that's okay because it's a show, but that's their real lives that they're dealing with and that they have to go home to every day. So it can be a lot. Explosive episode. Can't wait to see the tell all. Seems like more things are going to come out. We're going to get some more details on these couples and other couples involved in 90 Day the Other Way. So thanks, guys, for joining me in this ride. Connect with me anytime. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. We talk faith, love, and trends. And prayer is always important when it comes to love and relationships. So we always send prayers up when it comes to these couples. These are real life couples that are going through. And all the couples out there, all those people that are trying to love and love on each other in the right way, we pray for them. And we learn lessons from these shows. These shows are, I can learn lessons from fictional shows as well. Believe me, we talk about fictional programming as well. But these are people that are in real life scenarios and situations. And so I really think that we can glean a lot of information and learn a lot from what they're going through in their relationships. And it's a little bit different. Again, it's like being put in a fishbowl. It's not 100%, like I said, accurately how someone will live their life with the cameras around. People are going to do and react probably a little bit differently. I hear people say that they get used to the cameras and being followed every day. It becomes kind of like a job for them, which I believe that. But on some level, you are aware of the cameras being there. That can't be denied. But I think there's a lot of realness, even though a lot of it is put together and set up for programming and viewing. But yeah, we're going to talk more about 90 Day Fiance, faith, love, and trends, relationships. We have some great content coming up. We're working on some new things. Our Single Christian Girls series is continuing. We have some great things that I'm planning for subscribers only February for Single Christian Girls. Also planning on doing a singles chat with other singles. So that's going to be a fun project we're working on as well. If you want to connect and work with us and talk about love and relationships, if you're single, divorced, married, whatever your status, the doors are open. Again, we talk about faith, love, and trends. We talk about trends when it comes to celebrities and their love lives and what they go through. And, there's been so many couples divorcing in the Hollywood world. What can we learn from that as everyday people going through these divorce challenges? So again, we talk about it all right here on CBiz Media. If it's love related, if it's faith related, if it's trending, we're going to talk about it. So stay with us. Um, Again, you can be a guest as well. Connect with us. You can always email me, Irene, at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's CBIZTV@yahoo.com. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I'll talk to you later. This is Irene.